And we begin with breaking news at 5 and a possible drowning in Hagg Lake. The Washington County Sheriff's Office says a dive team is now searching for a man who went underwater this afternoon and did not resurface.
Boat Ramp A, which is on the east side of the lake in the park, is closed right now while that search goes on. Boaters are being asked to avoid the area. We'll update you on air and on KGW.com as we learn more. Now that comes as a heat wave hits the Portland, Vancouver area. For most of the work week, we'll see temperatures at or around 100 degrees. And you're looking live at Portland, Dayton, and Cannon Beach on this hot and sunny Monday. Thank you for joining us here at 5 o'clock. I'm Laurel Porter.
And I'm David Molko. The coast is going to be one of the few places in the state where you can escape that heat this week. We're going to take you there in just a moment. But first, let's start with Evan Watson in the newsroom, because Evan, given the forecast, there is now a big effort underway to keep the most vulnerable in our communities safe.
We saw the deadly impact of the heat last summer, and while we won't get that hot this week, it is still dangerous for people living outside or in a place without air conditioning. That's why the nonprofit PDX Saints Love is opening a cooling station at Lentz Park every day this week. The Lentz neighborhood is a heat island where temperatures are usually hotter than other parts of the city. The cooling center there will be open from 11 to 7, and anyone can show up to get a cold water, a cool towel, and a snack. PDX Saints Love will also be driving around the neighborhood, helping people who can't make it to the park.
People will come here because they have their dogs, they have their belongings, maybe they are having a bad day, they're in psychosis, and they can't go inside. And so this is a place where, at the very least, we get to put eyes on people and say, hey, you're looking different, or, do you want some food, or things like that.
The Portland Bureau of Emergency Management also donated 2 fans. PDX Saints Love is looking for volunteers all week. They would appreciate any donations of bagged ice.
Really important work. Thank you, Evan. And before we check in with Matt Zafino, we do want to let our viewers know about an incident that happened while covering that story in Lentz Park. A person who was being helped by PDX Saints Love attacked our photographer. He punched him multiple times in the face and then took off. Police were called and they arrested him nearby. Our photographer and reporter, they are both okay. They're back at home, but understandably shaken up after the incident, as are all of us. We want to thank the volunteers with PDX Saints Love for helping our photographer there before EMTs arrived.
We are so grateful our crew's okay. Chief Meteorologist Matt Zafino joins us now for our first forecast and the latest timeline on this heat wave. Matt, it is already pretty hot out there.
Oh yeah, we're cooking out there for sure. I mean, look at this scene from our solar vineyard sky cam. It just looks hot. Sky's a little bit hazy. They just cut the hay, so that's even looking hot down on the ground. And, it's 99 degrees down the valley right now. Now, the latest numbers just coming in, and I expect we're going to be close to a record high for the day. There we go. 99 our high so far. The record for today is 100, and that 99 matches June 26th for our hottest day of the year so far. I think we'll be a little bit hotter tomorrow. 100 in McMinnville, so we had triple digits. 100 in Hood River. Out in the Dalles, 108. Yikes, brutal. Redmond hit 100. Medford 107. But notice the coast, 60s, 70s, couple 80s up around Astoria, but markedly cooler and way more comfortable. And the coast, unlike last year, won't get the super hot weather. We're not getting a big east wind that drives those coastal temperatures super high. So we've got the excessive heat warning for the valley here from just south of Salem up through Clark County, and then a heat advisory through the Coast Range and over on the east side. And this continues into Thursday because this heat wave, if you consider it as beginning yesterday, because we're in the 90s yesterday, that's going to be about 5 days in a row in the 90s, which is more than enough for Western Oregon. We don't like it that much. Now, this is the other side of the coin, too. Look at these overnight temperatures, hour by hour. Beginning at 11 o'clock tonight, we're still in the 80s. We don't drop out of the 70s until about 5 a.m., which is really just before sunrise. So it is going to be a very, very warm evening. And again, if you don't have AC or a way to cool down your home, wait until it's cooler outside before you open the windows. And as soon as it is cooler outside, then you want to open things up and let that slightly cooler air into your home. But it's going to be a while before it cools off tonight. Now, the hottest day will be tomorrow. Very warm nights all week, as we were just discussing. I think we'll finally stay below 90 as we go into the weekend. And next week is looking a lot cooler. But this is going to be one hot work week. Guys?
Well, that's welcome news, at least for next week. See you in a bit, Matt. PGE, by the way, offering some advice to stay cool and make sure your electric bill doesn't also overheat. You can keep your thermostat set just a little bit higher, say maybe 76 instead of 70. That'll save a few dollars. Also save showers, laundry, running the dishwasher for the morning or the evening to keep the heat from building up. And take advantage of those temperature drops if they go low enough overnight.
Open the windows at night and in the early morning hours if it's safe to do so. Use a fan to dry in that cool air, cool off the inside of the home. Close and capture that air when the outside temperatures reach about 75 to 80 degrees.
Well, if you're a PGE customer, you can also enroll online to track your energy usage.
In Washington, demand for air conditioning units is up across the state. HVAC businesses are fully booked. Companies say the increase started last year when we had that record-breaking June heat wave. I know you remember that. This summer, inflation is also playing into the equation.
Prices have been raised on everything, so not even for just customers in general, but also for us.
HVAC installation can range from $10,000 to $20,000 depending on the space. A burn ban started for all of Multnomah County this morning, and that means no recreational campfires, fire pits, or burning of yard debris. You can still barbecue, though, but officials ask that you use extreme caution and dispose of coal and ash properly.
An important reminder there, of course, during extreme heat, there is nothing like Mother Nature's air conditioning, and the one place that you can truly find that at the coast. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri is in Pacific City this evening. So, Joe, what does it feel like out there?
I don't want to rub it in, but I'll tell you this. In one word, it's fantastic. A little bit of a breeze behind me, but it's been a long time, David and Laurel, since I've seen crowds like this out along the northern Oregon coast, where people have been packed out here in Pacific City the entire day from this morning up until now. You can see behind me there's people camping out here. You have some people surfing out in the Pacific Ocean, and it's absolutely gorgeous conditions out here this afternoon. As soon as we pulled up to Pacific City late this morning, the parking lot at Pelican Brewery was packed with people looking to cool off. They were either playing on the beach or they were in the ocean catching some waves. I caught up with one woman who was visiting from the Midwest who came out to the Oregon coast to see what all the nice conditions are like this time of year.
We have been doing a surf trip every year for about the past 20 years.
No kidding.
Yep. And
So you get on the board?
I did yesterday. Let me tell you, I'm going to be 90 the 27th of this month, and I thought I'm going to do it one more time before I die.
Hey, I think we all should live our lives like that woman. She was very fun to chat with. I don't believe her. I think she probably did try to get up a little bit instead of just hanging out there on the board. But, there's some families I spoke with. David and Laurel said they might have to rearrange their trip. They came out here for maybe a night or two. Some families were planning on leaving by Wednesday. I think some people are going to be extending that, especially with the temperatures as warm as they have been, or I should say going to be. And, it's not just the Pelican Brewery parking lot that's pretty busy as well. There's an ice cream shop across the street. Before we came out here, there was a line out the door, and I have a feeling there's going to be a line outside that door over the next couple of days as people come out here to the coast to cool off. Back to you guys.
Soaking in not the sunshine, but that coastal breeze out of the west. Who could blame them all? Joe, thanks so much. Our coverage of the heat wave continues all week on air and online at KGW.com. We've got updates to the forecast as well as a list of cooling centers. You can also find a cooling shelter or transportation near you by calling 211. Remember, right now, TriMet is offering free rides for everyone who needs access to a place to stay cool.
We now know the name of the Portland police officer who shot and killed a man over the weekend. The officer has been identified as Mina Cavalli Singer. She's been with the Portland Police Bureau for almost 5 years. Let's bring in Mike Benner. Mike, we're also hearing from the sister of the man killed.
Yeah, she spoke to us from Kentucky where she lives, and she told me that she found out about what happened in an overnight text message from her dad, who lives here in Portland. As you might imagine, she is absolutely devastated by the shooting, which turned out to be the start of a violent weekend in Portland.
Video obtained by KGW shows 2 Portland police officers trying to arrest a man under investigation for domestic violence. This happened early Sunday morning near Southeast 148th and Clinton. You'll notice the suspect and officers begin to fight each other and fall to the ground. Then a gunshot is heard. In all likelihood, it came from the gun in the suspect's hand.
This is really hard on me right now.
Wednesday Lapin tells us the man officers were struggling with is her brother, who we're not identifying until police do. Video shows an officer disarm the man. Then the other officer, Mina Cavalli-Singer, shoots and kills the man.
It doesn't take a rocket science to know that that cop was very, very excessive with her 6 bullets. Like, I'm sorry, but at the point that he was shot, he was unarmed already. They had taken his gun from him, so he didn't have it.
It drags at you. I mean, it pulls at you.
Sergeant Aaron Schmautz, president of the Portland Police Association, can't help but wonder if the whole thing could have been avoided.
If we have 3 or 4 police officers there, that subject might not be so willing to pull a gun out and shoot at the police if he realizes, but when he sees there's 2 and it's dark and the street's dark and there's no one else around, that level of courage to take that violent act rises.
Sergeant Schmautz blames the staffing crisis at the Bureau, which he believes played a part in 2 other incidents over the weekend. Around 8:30 Sunday morning, a police officer, working because of staffing issues, was hospitalized after being run over by a suspect in a stolen vehicle investigation. And in a 3rd incident, 2 more officers were hospitalized with injuries they sustained while trying to apprehend somebody, all while waiting for backup from a short-staffed Bureau.
The reality is, the truth of the matter is our members are humans, they're individuals, and they're out there every single day trying to make this city safer, and they need help.
And perhaps nothing makes that clearer than the police shooting that left Wednesday Lapin's brother dead.
The officer that shot him as many times as she did needs to be held accountable for that.
And that, of course, is her take on what happened. Sergeant Aaron Schmautz, on the other hand, says this could have ended much differently with 2 police officers, his union members, murdered. And he says that is just unacceptable. This shooting is under investigation, and the case will be presented to the Police Review Board. Back to you.
Mike Benner reporting there. Thank you, Mike. Let's take you to Seaside now, where an early morning fire burned down 2 homes and damaged a 3rd house. The fire also triggered at least 5 propane explosions. It broke out just after 4 a.m. and closed Highway 101. Police say they also arrested 2 people on outstanding warrants during that fire response. No word on what they were wanted for. The cause of the fire there remains under investigation.